Let's talk about masala dosa. Welcome back to Sprung On Food. I'm your host, Kae Sprung. This season, we're talking about favorite foods, the history behind it, and the role it plays in the world today. Joining me today is comedian, actor, writer, and content creator, Jordan Myrick. Jordan, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I am very excited that you are here. Aside from being such a funny person, you are also a fellow food lover, which is also very exciting to me. Your favorite food is masala dosa. I want to know all about it. What is your relationship with this food? Why is it your favorite? Tell me all the things.
Well, first of all, it's my favorite because it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. You can put anything in a dosa and it would be delicious. I think masala dosa or Mysore masala dosa, which is like the spicy version of it, are my two favorite iterations of dosa. But dosa in general is just truly so delicious and wonderful. But I first had it because my parents do not eat meat. So growing up, I was a pescatarian and we lived originally in New Orleans and then moved to South Florida. And in like the late 90s, like being a vegetarian was still a very new thing for a lot of people, a lot of white people specifically. So it was, I remember like in the early 2000s, like Burger King released like the Boca Burger, and that was like huge for my family. You just couldn't get a ton of vegetarian options out at restaurants. And when we moved to South Florida, we were driving around our new town. We saw a restaurant called Woodlands Indian Cuisine, vegetarian Indian food is what the sign said. And we were like, a vegetarian restaurant? This is crazy. So we pulled in the parking lot and we went inside and we were like, wait, we don't eat meat. Is this restaurant really no meat? And they were like, yeah, of course it's no meat. Like it's a South Indian restaurant, like there's no meat. And we were like, we don't know anything about that, but we don't eat meat and this place smells delicious. So please just bring out a bunch of food, whatever sounds the best, and we can't wait to try it. And they brought us just out a huge selection of things. And one of them was a masala dosa. And it changed my life. It was a real ratatouille moment for me.
Oh, I love that. Do you remember approximately like how old-ish you were?
I moved to South Florida when I was maybe 6 or 7.
So you're a little kid.
I was little. Yeah, I was little for sure. And it was cool to meet people that were excited to talk about food and show us food from their culture, because my family loves food and loves talking about food from our culture. My family's from the New Orleans area. And so, sharing food is a big part of that cultural makeup of New Orleans. And so it felt like we were all really able to connect and then talk about vegetarian food, which is not a thing my family had ever really gotten to do before. And my parents eat a lot of different things, really anything as long as it doesn't have meat in it. But we had not had a lot of Indian food. So I was trying a lot of flavors that I had never had before. Or like, we had Udupi, which is like a savory pancake. I had never had a savory pancake before. So that blew my mind that there was like chilies and onion in this pancake.
This is so cool that there was, it's almost like a beacon of light, this restaurant that was available to both of your parents who are vegetarian. I myself am vegetarian. So for me, whenever I can go to a place that is either exclusively vegetarian or even a vegan restaurant, I feel so liberated that I can literally have anything on the menu. There are no obstacles. There's no, bacon craftfully put into my Brussels sprouts. It's all available. So I can only imagine how delighted they were for that. And then how cool too to be able to be introduced into a new food category and culture that you hadn't had before. Now, sometimes things are a little spicy. As a little kid, were you okay with the spice?
I'm a spice freak, and I have been since I was born.
Oh,
I don't find a lot of Indian food spicy like a lot of other white people do. But for me, the hotter the better, and I'm still that way. And I've been that way since I was a child. My parents talk about how when I was little, we'd be like at a Mexican restaurant and I'd be in a high chair, like going for the spiciest salsa. And people from other tables would be like, no, don't let her. And my parents would be like, no, she like really likes it. And the people at restaurants always thought it was really funny. It felt like a party trick my parents could do with me as a baby.
yeah.
But yeah, still the hotter the better to this day. I love it.
Fabulous. So nothing was off limits. This is great. And
Yeah.
Today, are there any particular places that you go to when you need that masala dosa fix, or places that need a shout out? Have you ever made it yourself?
Absolutely. I have made it myself. It's not as good as when you get it somewhere, of course. Coincidentally, when my family moved to Los Angeles when I was in high school, we drove by a restaurant called Woodlands Indian Cuisine right after we moved here. And we were like, it was a chain. We never knew. And then we
Oh,
went
really?
inside and we were like, we're here. We've been to the other restaurant. And they were like, that's it. It's just not an uncommon name for South Indian restaurants to be called Woodlands. And I was like, okay. So they were not affiliated whatsoever, but it was the first restaurant that my family ate at when we moved to Los Angeles when I was a junior in high school. And they're wonderful. They're great. They have unbelievable dosas. They're so nice. Everything they do is perfect and I love them. Also, Namaste Spiceland is an Indian grocery store and they have an incredible hot counter. They have one location in the Thousand Oaks Westlake Village area and one location in Pasadena. And they're great, an incredible grocery store, incredible food. And then, yeah, like go out to Artesia. Anywhere in Artesia is going to be incredible.
Oh man. All right. So people have their lists of places to go. This is fantastic. And it sounds like you have no shortage of locations to fulfill that dosa need when the craving strikes. So this is great.
Yeah, but I'll always take more. So anyone can drop in the comments of this if they have other places that they think I should try because I love to try a restaurant.
Yes, it'll be beneficial for your list. It'll boost engagement. Everybody wins. So
Exactly.
make sure to let Jordan know. Well, this is great, but to better understand and appreciate our food, we've got to know where it came from. Masala dosa, a golden, crisp, paper-thin crepe hugging a warm spiced potato filling served with a side of coconut chutney, sambar, and maybe a little dollop of tomato chutney too. It's crunchy, it's comforting, it's wildly popular, and it has one heck of a backstory. Today, we're traveling through southern India and back through centuries to uncover the history of the masala dosa. Long before there was masala in the dosa, there was just dosa. And to be fair, that was already a pretty big deal. Dosa is one of the oldest recorded dishes in Indian culinary history. Some historians trace it back to the origin of 1st century CE, with the earliest references found in ancient Tamil Sangam literature, where it's called dosai. That's before the Colosseum was finished by Rome, before paper was invented in China, a full millennium before pasta showed up in Italy. It's generally agreed that dosa originated in Tamil Nadu, though Karnataka also claims a long-standing dosa tradition, particularly in temple towns like Udupi. But for the sake of historical record, Tamil Nadu takes the first bite. Simply, the dosa is made from a batter of rice and urad dal, or black gram, soaked, ground, and fermented overnight. But why those two ingredients? It turns out this combo wasn't just a happy accident. It was rooted in agriculture, climate, and nutrition. Both rice and urad dal are staple crops in South India and naturally complement each other. Rice provides starch and bulk, while urad dal brings protein and acts as a fermentation catalyst. Together, they create a batter that's not only nutritious, but also ideally suited to the tropical climate of South India, where fermentation happens easily. The fermentation of the batter is a key innovation, enhancing the flavor and texture while also making the nutrients more bioavailable, meaning the ability of a substance to be absorbed and used by the body. In fact, this process is one of the earliest examples of intentional lactic acid fermentation in Indian cuisine, long before modern science caught up. Originally, dosa was soft, thick, and spongy, more like a pancake or Ethiopian injera than the paper crispy version that came later. It was cooked on clay griddles or iron plates, typically greased with sesame oil or ghee. It was a meal rich in carbs, protein, and beneficial bacteria, an ancient probiotic, if you will. Jordan, when it comes to probiotics, you could go Jamie Lee Curtis approved Activia or Dosa. I'm assuming you're going to go Dosa. Are there any other probiotic foods that you might be a fan of or know about?
Any of them. I love fermented anything. So I'm a huge kimchi fan, sauerkraut,
Mm-hmm.
yogurts, like really anything that is fermented. I love a tang. I love a bright flavor. Sometimes I feel like I'm kind of the opposite of a super taster, where like I'm like
Oh,
I really need it to have a lot of pizzazz in the bite for me to feel something about it. So yeah, any
aha.
type of fermentation I love.
I feel like, okay, so with sauerkraut, love sauerkraut. What is your best application for it? Because as you said it, I was like, dang, I do like sauerkraut too, but like I think of I mean, I could do it on like a veggie dog or something like that, but is there another application that I'm missing that I should be getting into?
I love to do a Reuben style patty melt, which you can easily
Yes.
do with a veggie burger. Or honestly, you
Yes.
could just do a Reuben style grilled cheese and that would be good too.
Hell
But
yeah.
cheese, Russian dressing or Thousand Island, depending on where you're from,
Hmm.
sauerkraut, rye bread, griddle it up. You can put that veggie burger patty on it or not, but it's unbelievable.
Holy shit. Okay, so dinner plans set. This is what I'm making. Oh, it
Good.
sounds fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
delish.
Dang, thank you for that.
Of course, thank you.
Well, dosa also had a ritual role in many households, particularly Tamil Brahmin cuisine. It was considered sattvic food, pure vegetarian, and appropriate for religious offerings and temple kitchens. That sacred aura helped the dish maintain a central place in South Indian food cultures for centuries. So, by the time masala got added, dosa was already a beloved staple at the South Indian table. Now, speaking of, where does the masala come in? Well, cue Karnataka. While Tamil Nadu may have given the world its first taste of dosa, it's the temple town of Udupi in present-day Karnataka that's heavily credited with introducing the world to the masala dosa, that iconic version filled with spiced potatoes. Now, here's where we meet an important character in this dosa tale, Kae Krishna Rao. Krishna Rao was a restaurateur from Udupi, and he played a pivotal role in popularizing the masala dosa as we know it today. He was closely associated with the rise of Udupi restaurants, particularly in Chennai, which was then Madras. In the early 1940s, Krishna Rao introduced the concept of stuffing the dosa with flavorful, turmeric-tinged potato filling, turning it from a plain fermented crepe into a more hearty, self-contained meal that was easy to serve in bustling restaurants. Jordan, speaking of self-contained meals, taking something and basically using it as a wrapper or container probably produces some of the most delicious foods out there: sandwiches, burritos,
Of course.
dosas. Is there any other food that you love that would benefit so greatly from being self-contained? And if so, how would you go about doing it?
Okay. I mean, you brought up injera earlier, so that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I would love to see just like a vegetarian Ethiopian lunch buffet turned into a burrito using injera as the bread. I think that's the first thing
Mm,
that comes to my mind. Also, this would be carb on carb, but I'm not opposed. I would
sure.
love to see shrimp and grits somehow. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know if we're turning the grits into grit cakes and then that's bread, or if we're just turning, I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know how
It's
we're
your
doing
it's
it.
your world, however your
I don't
mind's
know.
eye conjures it
Yeah.
up.
I
Yeah.
gotta get in the kitchen and do some recipe testing. But I
Okay.
would love to see more shrimp and grits in handheld so I can kind of take it, hit the road.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so plans for 2025 food innovation. We're
Yes.
doing shrimp and grits on the go in an easy, portable fashion.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm staying tuned. I love this.
I'm scared. It seems like there's a lot of
Oh,
potential to fail, but hey, we'll have fun doing it.
if at first you don't succeed, you try again, and if nothing else, then it's still going to be probably edible. So,
Yeah, worst case scenario, you've eaten 100,000 pounds of shrimp and that's fine.
see, everybody wins.
Exactly.
Well, according to multiple food historians and published interviews, Krishna Rao helped make the masala dosa a menu staple across India. His work with Woodlands Hotel in Chennai, When you said it, I was like,
It's
can't
perfect.
give
It's
it
all coming
away.
together. Yeah.
We have our full circle moment. Yes.
I
So
love
this might
that.
be our origin story. Yes. The hotel was in Chennai and instrumental in bringing standardized high quality Udupi cuisine, including the masala dosa, to the masses. Prior to this, dosas were often served plain with chutneys and sambar on the side. The idea of stuffing them may have existed informally in home cooking or temple kitchens, but it was Krishna Rao who basically was an early day food influencer, turning the masala dosa into a commercial hit and a cultural symbol. So, yes, while Krishna Rao didn't invent the dosa or even the idea of stuffing it, she's all that at it and transformed it into an international culinary icon, an exportable, restaurant ready, and delicious food experience. He understood that a dosa could be a full meal, a showstopper, even a brand. With the rise of Udupi restaurants in the early 20th century, especially in urban cities like Bangalore, Chennai, and Mumbai, the masala dosa found a loyal and growing fan base. But the real turning point came during post-independence India, when economic liberalization, migration, and a burgeoning middle class brought South Indian cuisine into the national and later international spotlight. By the 1950s and 60s, Udupi restaurants had started popping up in major Indian cities, often run by enterprising Karnataka Brahmin families. Now, in case you aren't familiar, a Brahmin is a member of the highest caste. Traditionally, they're priests, teachers, spiritual leaders who are responsible for performing religious rituals and preserving sacred knowledge. These restaurants became iconic with their efficient steel tawas, filtered coffee, and of course, crisp golden masala dosas flying off the griddle. Jordan, what do you think about this timeline of the dosa going back to basically the first century? And then we're not seeing the masala dosa really until the 20th century, like in the 1940s, and it's becoming popularized.
I think everything you're saying is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Oh my, okay.
I cannot conceptualize time like that. Like when you're like, oh, it was a millennium before pasta. I was like, well, pasta happened 800,000 years ago. So how long could that have been? I'm so bad at time. So you're saying dates and I'm like, it's just all unbelievable to me. And it's wild that it took so long to put potatoes inside of it.
Yeah, it seems, in what do they say? Hindsight's 2020, and
Of
you'd be like,
course.
"Oh, okay, yeah. Why wouldn't you put potatoes in it?" But I guess speaking of that, like, is there any food that you think that we're currently sleeping on, or that could get like a really cool glow up that hasn't been done yet in that same kind of vein?
It's so hard to say because in the year 2025, I feel like everyone is trying to glow up everything, right? Like
Mm,
on social media, everyone's always like, this new take on this thing. And I
right.
think for me, one specific dish doesn't pop into my mind necessarily, but I think the glow up for me would have to be like white people paying a ton of money for food from other cultures. I think that's what we
Uh-huh.
should be doing. Do you know what I mean? For
Yeah.
so long, we saw like Rick Bayless doing Mexican food and like all these people kind of like co opting culture and making money off of it. And I'm like, I just think that like anyone from any culture, any immigrant should be able to come to America, open a restaurant, do whatever they want. Like put pho inside, I don't know, a balloon and I'll suck it out and pay $100,000 for it. Like it doesn't matter
There
what
you
it is.
go.
I think it could be the dish or the presentation, but I think that a lot of times other cuisines and cultures don't get to be fancy here in America or don't get to like experiment with stuff as much.
Mm.
So that's what I would like to see.
Wow. But in a balloon.
I don't
I
know. I
am
don't know what I'm
what
having.
what was that restaurant? I think they may have closed either recently or closing. Is it golly? There's like two. It's not Noma, which is that one in
In
Copenhagen, right?
Copenhagen, yeah.
But there's one I think is it in Chicago where they do I've not been and the name is escaping me, but they do crazy whimsical like molecular gastronomy type of a things where they would have something like that, like a balloon and you pop it and then inside is a little morsel or something like that. I can
Yes.
see an elevated restaurant or not even elevated and just being like fun and whimsical and playful and doing something
Yeah, and
similar. I
I
mean,
think I think old people should get that opportunity more as well. Like I feel
oh,
like, like yeah, like WD-40, like Wiley Dufresne was like
mm-hmm,
a young kind of nerdy white guy, so he
yeah.
got to do whatever or like these like higher level white like restaurateurs who had, like restaurants in New York where they were like, "We have a cheesecake popsicle tree or whatever that we bring to your table at dessert, like whatever fun things." I want to see like a really old lady get to do something fun like that.
Hell yeah. So I'm in New York and there is a restaurant which cut to there's apparently a movie coming out. It either did or it's soon. I don't know. My timeline is off. And it is based off of, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, wait a minute, this sounds crazy familiar. So I do not live in Staten Island, but in Staten Island, there is a restaurant there. And again, the name is escaping me because I wasn't planning on talking about it, but it's essentially an Italian restaurant, but the cooks are nonas and they come from
Yes.
different regions of Italy. So depending who's in the kitchen that day or that week or what have you, you may get, Italian food from all different regions. And I always thought like, oh, how charming. That makes such an amazing story. And then now I slept on it. I didn't get my script in to Hollywood yet. And yeah, there's a movie coming out that's based off. Oh, I think it's
It's
with
on Netflix and
Vince
Vince Vaughn
Vaughn.
is in it. Yeah, right? Because I know about
Okay.
this restaurant because I lived in New York for a very long time and I always tried to go, but it's in Staten Island, which like
They
I
make
was
it
like,
hard to get there.
yeah, I was like working 7 days a week, like barely making ends meet. I was like, I can't get my ass to Staten Island right now in the 10 years I lived there, but I wanted to. But then, yeah, recently I saw Netflix advertising the Vince Vaughn movie, and I didn't realize that's what it was about. I was just like, oh, it seems similar to that restaurant, but I didn't look into it because I think I hate Vince Vaughn.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so
I think I'm
I
still deciding, but I feel like I've heard that he sucks. And so I'm
okay.
like, oh, I think maybe he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can feel however you want. I just saw what I saw and I was like, that's total. I mean, where else are they getting that from? And if it wasn't, consulted with the restaurant owner and things like that, I was like, that's the inspiration, 100%. So
Sure.
I could also sound like I'm talking out of my ass because somebody could be like, no, 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 that's actually not correct at all. This is a place in Boston and whatever. But to me, I'm
No.
like, no, 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 no. That's the
Yes.
place
I don't
in
think you could
Staten Island.
ever seem like you're talking out of your ass.
Well, thank you so much. That's
You
how I've
seem,
escaped the law multiple times.
yeah,
No, I'm
you
just
seem
kidding.
thoroughly researched
Oh,
and
except when I
confident.
can't remember any of the names of any of the things that I'm talking about,
Well,
but it's
that's not what
okay.
this episode was about. I didn't say bring all your
Thank
favorite Vince
you.
Vaughn movies. So,
Ah,
that just kind of sprung
yes,
up in conversation.
it's true. Thank you for your kindness.
Of
Yes, I feel
course.
like if I can back it up with enough descriptive words and such,
Yes.
I've redeemed myself.
Yes. And so on that note, I think that those old women at that restaurant should sue Vince Vaughn, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, great. All
Yeah.
right, so we're gonna call some lawyers. We're gonna get
Perfect.
in on this lawsuit.
Yep.
So watch out, everybody, especially Vince Vaughn. Here we come.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the decades that followed, the dosa became one of the most visible ambassadors of Indian food abroad. Indian immigrants carried the recipe and traditions with them to the US, UK, Canada, the Gulf, and beyond. Today, you'll find masala dosas in food trucks in Los Angeles, a cart in New York City's Washington Square Park, vegan cafes in Berlin, and five-star hotel brunches in Dubai. It's even crossed into fusion cuisine. Think dosa tacos, dosa wraps, and yes, masala dosa waffles. I'll leave it to you to decide if those are culinary innovations or sacrilege. Masala dosa is a fundamental part of the culture. In South India, it's a breakfast staple, but also a celebration food. It's eaten at just about any occasion or non-occasion, from weddings, festivals, business meetings, to weekend breakfasts. It's an equalizer, a dish enjoyed by everyone from auto rickshaw drivers to Bollywood celebrities. There's even a bit of politics in the dosa. The term dosa diplomacy has been used as a public commentary in places like social platforms and media to highlight the soft power of dosa in bridging political or social tensions. If only all political problems could be solved so easily, we'd all be living in a much better world. Fast forward to today, and the masala dosa continues to evolve. There's also paper dosa. It's so big it hangs off the edge of your plate. As you had mentioned, the Mysore masala dosa, slathered with a red chutney before being filled. The rava dosa, made with semolina instead of rice. And the set dosa, 3 soft, fluffy rounds served with a drizzle of ghee. Gluten-free, naturally. Vegan, absolutely. About to hit your FYP after listening to all of this? You know it. Jordan, if you're creating your own version of a dosa, what's going in it?
Yeah, I just don't think it can be improved upon, especially by me. I'm a genius, but I'm not that good, And I do have to take a moment to shout out, you mentioned the Washington Square Park dosa
Yeah.
cart. I
Mm-hmm.
have to shout out Theru, the man that owns that cart, the dosa man. Iconic. He's a New York City legend, and
Mm-hmm.
he fed me almost every single day in college. And
Really?
he's perfect and incredible and makes some of the best food in this entire country. So if you're visiting New York or live in New York and you've never been, you gotta go see him. He updates his, when I was younger, it was Twitter. Now I don't know where
Yeah.
he's updating his location, but he's in Washington Square Park. You can go find him. Sometimes if he's tired or if it's raining, he's not there. But
Right.
in general, he's normally there and he's the best.
Yeah, and you won't be able to not find him because there's usually always a line there. So
Yes.
just look for the line first and then follow those breadcrumbs and it will lead to the cart.
Yes. And it moves fast. Don't worry about the line. You'll be there
Yeah.
in no time.
Yeah, he's a seasoned pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an experience well worth it. So, oh, good. I'm glad you've had the opportunity to experience that too. That's awesome.
Yes, I had to shout him out. He really is wonderful.
Yay. Okay. So Vince Vaughn sucks. This guy rules. Great.
Yes. And that's the platform I'm running on 100%.
Okay, great. We're going to make t-shirts that say that.
That's perfect.
Open
I
up a
will wear
merch
one.
shop.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I
Let's
can
rock.
get a lot of people on board with this.
Okay. All right. Well, if you open up that merch shop,
Okay.
if you cut me 5% because this happened
Perfect.
here, virtual handshake, it
Yes. Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I'll send over some legal stuff from Redbubble and then we'll get everything going.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I'll have my lawyers look at it and get back to
Thank
you.
you. Perfect.
Well, in a world where food trends can be fleeting, the masala dosa has held its ground for over a millennium. It's a dish born of necessity, shaped by ritual, carried by migration, and celebrated worldwide. Jordan, what do you think about the backstory of the masala dosa?
I think it's beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It has a long history.
Huh.
People have been eating it forever, and it is so wonderful to see things come out of necessity. I don't know if people were making the dosa batter initially a billion years ago, being like, we're going to do like lacto fermentation in this, but it just like naturally happened because that's what needed to happen. I think that's so cool and fascinating and wonderful. Really makes you believe in some kind of higher power.
This topic comes up a lot in a number of the episodes where our minds just continuously get blown that somebody out there or groups of people were just like, hey man, there's like this thing and I'm gonna take it and then I'm gonna like do something with it and then I'm gonna like mix it with this and then I'm gonna maybe heat it or maybe and then something. I know that there are probably like iterations until it became a thing, whatever the thing is.
Sure.
But even just bread,
Yeah.
what the heck? How?
Absolutely. I can't even imagine. Or plants. When did we decide that we were going to eat mushrooms? And so many
Right.
mushrooms are poisonous. How did we determine like how many people died figuring out what mushrooms we
Right.
couldn't eat? And all the stories about things being dropped into things. And then that, like, oh, the chimichanga was invented because she dropped a burrito in the fryer on accident and then said, this looks pretty good. I'm like, it's so crazy how much stuff with food is accidental, how much stuff with plants is accidental. And yeah, it really makes you be like, whoa, I'm so small.
Yes, that the food world is truly so much bigger than all of
Yes.
us and so much more impressive. And man alive, would I like to be the individual who one day can come up with a food product that hasn't been invented yet.
Mm-hmm.
That could be my legacy. That'd be pretty dope. But
Absolutely.
time will tell. I'm not gonna bust my butt doing it, but if
Yeah,
it happens
I
on
don't have that
accident.
skill level, but I'm proud of people that do.
But you know what? I'll take that pressure off of you because I don't know if a lot of these people thought that they had that skill level either. Because a lot of
I
these
guess that's
things were
true.
accidents.
I got
So
to be dropping stuff more.
just drop a bunch of stuff and see what happens.
Okay.
You'll probably create the next big balloon fuss sensation. It's only a matter of time, really.
I love that.
Well, Masala Dosa's popularity has definitely landed in some pop culture moments. In November 2019, then presidential candidate and future Vice President Kamala Harris filmed a viral video gaining 7 million views cooking masala dosas with actress Mindy Kaling. Starting around 2022, several viral clips emerged in India showing a masala dosa ice cream fusion. Dosa pieces and potato masala mashed into rolled ice cream. With one of these videos with almost 22,000 likes on Instagram, it became an internet sensation, generating mixed reactions, including backlash for being over the top. But that's the internet, baby. In 2023, the critically praised cooking narrative game Venba, set within Tamil diaspora life, featured a scene dedicated to making dosa in its virtual kitchen. And in Karnataka, India, on March 15th, 2024, MTR Foods and Lorman Kitchen Equipment officially earned a Guinness World Record and created the world's longest dosa, measuring. Jordan, you want to take a guess on how long this dosa was?
I hope it's 5 feet 9 inches so I can crawl inside of it.
Okay. Well, by Price is Right rules, you win, but I might just blow your mind in letting you know that it was actually 123 feet.
I'd fit in that.
You would definitely fit it.
I can get in there with some of my friends.
You could have a whole party inside that dosa. Yeah, and so for added context and reference, that would be a bit over 12 standard basketball hoops stacked on top of each other.
I can't even fathom how that would be made. How did they have a pan big enough to make that?
So they had kind of like a custom kitchen equipment manufacturer vendor that teamed up as well. It is a very kind of like long, it's a very interesting way that they did it, but it's in less of the traditional way and more so they made it to like roll up, if that makes sense.
Okay. Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Are there any other pop culture moments that you can think of with the masala dosa, or any final words that you have about your favorite food?
You know, I can't really think of any pop culture moments other than like Indian people being like, this is good, like Padma Lakshmi, like eating, you know, and I'm like, Padma is always a pop culture moment. That being said, I don't necessarily think it's made its way into the viral zeitgeist.
Mm.
And I think people are missing out. I think more people should be going to more South Indian restaurants, getting dosa, trying everything on the menu. I'm really hyping up dosa in this episode, but I mean, so much is absolutely unbelievable. I've never, ever, ever had a bad dish at a South Indian restaurant. So I think just go out, Google a South Indian restaurant near you and go eat lunch now in my honor.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Jordan, thank you so much for sharing your love of masala dosa and helping me to tell its story.
Thank you for having me and letting me talk about it.
Thanks for watching. You can find links and more info in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you next time.